Please, if you could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to call the Pleasant Valley School District Board of Education meeting to order. And Mrs. Kashesky, if you would please lead us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we can have a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everyone. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone that's with us this evening. And if we could have roll call, please.
Here. Here.
Here.
Present.
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 Here.
Here. Thank you. I'd like to let everyone know that we did have an executive session. It was held this evening, November 25th of 2024, immediately prior to the regular scheduled meeting for the purpose of personnel matters, including but not limited to performance and or discipline, negotiations, and legal issues. Now I'd like to ask Dr. Conrad to introduce our next presentation.
Good evening, everyone. So I have the honor and privilege to have Becky Dussinger here. She is from PSBA. She's the Director of Member Outreach, and she wants to share with us some very positive news for Pleasant Valley School District.
Good evening.
Push the button. Is the light on, the green light, if you push the button in? That's a good thing, yep.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
Everybody hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. I am so pleased to be here on behalf of PSBA, our governing board, staff, and the entire association to celebrate with you all Pleasant Valley receiving the designation for a Great Pennsylvania School. This honor recognizes schools that demonstrate a commitment to academic rigor, community, resilience, and financial health. We applaud you for your dedication in all of these areas. Your students are both successful and challenged by the district's curriculum, which drives student engagement. Innovative school programming, plus honors and awards celebrating student success, foster a sense of belonging and connection to the school community. And robust extracurricular activities help your students develop as well-rounded individuals. Your district demonstrates the importance of caring for students holistically through emergency preparedness and mental health supports. While offering these many benefits to your students, you remain grounded in financial health through budget development, financial audits, and compliance and bid requirements. This achievement is an opportunity for Pleasant Valley to promote public education excellence in your community. Take the time to celebrate your Great Pennsylvania School designation. Congratulations, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your evening, but more importantly, allowing me to be here for your celebration. Congratulations for all that you do. One very small request. We're going to present you with something, and if we could just take a few minutes of a pause. But again, this is for the community, the school district, and all of you here. So thank you so much.
This one? This one? Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Where do you want to go? I'll see you next time. You go. Okay. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. We can't wait to hang it.
Yeah.
We're gonna hang it.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
Where are you hanging it for us?
the front
This is
door.
fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good, certainly.
All right.
Here, how do we? Yeah, thanks, Ray. Appreciate it.
You want to do the next one too?
Sure, yes. And this evening, we are excited to have Dr. Ruth here. He is the president of NCC, Northampton Community College, and he was going to speak a little bit about the great relationship that NCC has with Pleasant Valley and students within our district. So let's welcome Dr. Ruth to the podium.
Thank you, and I guess I should start by saying congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
To be here this evening and be part of that. And I'm so glad you told everyone I was coming because you. So thanks for having me here this evening, and thanks for the incredible partnership that we enjoy with the Pleasant Valley School District and NCC. I wanted to give you a brief update about some of the great things that are going on at our college. Our fall semester is off to a great start. In fact, it's almost winding down at this point. On the enrollment side, the number of students that are enrolled in our college this fall is up 5% over last year, and credit hours are up over 4.3% over last year. Now in Monroe County, the number of Monroe County students who are attending NCC is up over 13%, and the enrollment on our Pocono campus alone is up 9%. So it's great news for this region and for our campus, our Pocono campus. The number of students that we're retaining year to year, meaning they start with us and will continue the following year, is also on the rise, and that shows that the support services and the wraparound supports that we have for our students to help them be successful are working, and they're staying and they're accomplishing their goals, whatever they may be. And the number of students who are enrolled in our dual enrollment programs are also growing as well. This is the third consecutive year where we've seen solid enrollment growth, and we're very excited about that. So we're in a much different position than many of our sister community colleges in Pennsylvania and other colleges, in fact, in the Commonwealth, that we are so fortunate to have that enrollment growth. So quick facts about our students. This fall, between all three of our campuses, we have about 10,000 credit students and about 20,000 non-credit. So that's everybody taking a kiffle making class or guitar lessons or those kind of programs. That's the non-credit, 20,000. Credit students are the ones that are enrolled in our degree or credential programs, 10,000. So in all three campuses, we have 30,000 students. It makes us the largest and most diverse college in this region. Most of our students are part-time. Most of our students, in fact 65%, are women. 59% of our student population are students of color. 65% of our students are first-generation college students, meaning they're the first in their family to go to college. Most of our students live in Northampton and Monroe counties, but 20% of our students come from outside that region. We have a out-of-county, out-of-state, and out-of-country population. Because we have residence halls, we actually have international students that live in our Bethlehem Township campus. Most of our students, about more than half, range in age 18 to 23, but about a third of our students range 24 to 39. So we serve a non-traditional student population as well. And about a third of our students take classes exclusively on ground or in person, a third online, and a third mixed hybrid, combination of both. So people ask, what's NCC doing? What's the secret that is helping us be so successful when other colleges locally and nationally are struggling? And I say it's a combination of things. First, we're offering the right programs, like the trades and health sciences are very popular right now. I think we have the right people, great colleagues, faculty, and staff that work at the college, and the ability to live on campus in our Bethlehem Township campus. That's, and by the way, the largest majority of students that live in our residence halls in Bethlehem Township are from the Pocono region. And importantly, an outstanding reputation that NCC has that's built on 58 years of helping people transform their lives. And they say reputation drives everything. People know us, people trust us, they associate us with academic quality, and they know the success of our graduates. I met two of them here just sitting in these chairs, this evening. They know our longstanding presence in the Lehigh Valley and Pocono region, and it's proven to be a winning combination. Speaking of reputation, you should know that we've just been selected to join a national initiative to improve our students' success and close the gaps on completion. It's called Complete College America through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We're one of 80 colleges in the nation to be a participant, and only one of 4 community colleges in Pennsylvania. So it's a great opportunity for our students, and it's a great opportunity for us to get even better at what we do. And while things are going well today, we have a plan for the future. We just unveiled our strategic plan that will drive the college. And most strategic plans are like 5 or 7 years. We realize that we need to be more nimble than that. So our plan drives where we are today, but is nimble and agile enough that we can change it if we need to adapt to what's going on in our region, our Commonwealth, and our country. And our work. We focus on 4 pillars: creating an outstanding student experience, building strategic partnerships, developing compelling learning pathways, and strengthening the NCC organization so that they're a great place to live and work as well. In September, we opened a brand new multi-million-dollar healthcare, education, and workforce development center at our Bethlehem Township campus and debuted 3 new healthcare-related degree programs that were at capacity already this fall: respiratory therapy, cardiac sonography, and occupational health and safety, all made possible due to a $2.7 million federal grant we received. And I'm excited about this. We're in the exploratory phase and planning to bring dental hygiene to the Pocono campus as well. So there's a big demand for that up here. So we're in an exploratory phase. We encourage, as the college of the community, we encourage our faculty and staff to get engaged in the community where we live and work. And to that end, we just rolled out this fall that we're providing volunteer time off pay for employees to work in the community and volunteer with nonprofit organizations in our community. This fall, we launched several new academic programs. We have a specialized diploma now in culinary arts, as you can see. I'm doing quite well as a taste tester at that organization, but it focuses on entrepreneurship and culinary, data analytics, social media and digital marketing, and occupational safety and health, as well as the degree programs I talked about a moment ago. Now, when you think of a community college, you don't typically think of like a school that has student organizations and athletics and a theater program. I'm a graduate of a community college. When I went to community college, I went to class and then I sat in a car in between classes and ate my lunch. Like there wasn't opportunities to get engaged. We provide that kind of 4-year experience at the 2-year price. And so you can go to one of those other schools in our region that costs about $70,000 a year, but go to us first for the first 2 years, first $5,700 a year per year. And so you'll save a lot of money, get a good quality education, and then either go into the workforce or transfer to another institution. Right now, our number 1 and number 2 transfer institutions, by the way, are ESU and Kutztown. But we also have a lot of students that go to Penn State or Moravian or Lehigh or Lafayette or Smith College or Swarthmore College. So some really quality educational institutions that get their start here and they really go anywhere. We just had a group of students, again, a community college that has study abroad, but we just had students come back from China where they were working in a partnership with Jinhao University to explore culture and architecture and the way of life in China. And I will be taking a group in the spring on a study abroad trip to London. I've been practicing the language skills so I can get it all good so we can go together, but I'll be shopping. So again, we're providing that comprehensive college student experience at the 2-year level at the 2-year price. We have a lot going on. Once again, thank you for the partnership that we have. I especially appreciate the partnership that I have with Dr. Conrad. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for sending your students to us. We love having your students, and I'm glad that you have me here this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. moving on. Mira's not with us this evening? Okay. All right, we will move on to our November Students of the Month. And Mr. Pomposello, are you kicking us off this evening?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Before I talk about the 3 most awesome students from PBE, I just want to talk to some of the parents in the room. Thank you so much for supporting your child's education, because it is truly a 50-50 split between home and school. So if your kid's here being recognized today, they've been in the past, that means you're doing an amazing job at home, so thank you so much. To start us off, Ms. Borger, we'd like to welcome kindergarten teacher Christy Borger. Then I'd like to have Amari Williams and his whole family to come on up. Hold on, we're looking for it.
Uh-oh.
All right, we are streaming, correct? So she can still share a few words.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everybody. I must admit that I'm not surprised to be standing here to represent Amari Williams. He started kindergarten as a quiet, shy, curious little boy. And as our days turned into weeks, Amari began to open up to his peers and teachers. He also began to show his love for learning in school. Each day, Amari arrived at school ready for whatever was in store for him. He displayed great qualities, all of what it is to be a positive role model. He is always proud of his work, eager to share what he can do. He was one that was always kind and respectful each day to all of those around him. He's such an easygoing, fun-loving student who is always happy. It is without doubt that he deserves this recognition for the wonderful student and person that he is. I'm excited to see his continued growth, and I'm excited to present him with his little gift. Let's see him after Thanksgiving. So.
All right, next we go to the first grade teacher, Denise Linkhorst. And can I have Emery Chukowski and the whole family come on up? Everybody up here. I see you right there.
I think she should have to introduce everybody.
Good evening, everyone. I am also not surprised that we are standing here. Emery is actually an amazing student and an amazing person. She tries her best, even when something is very difficult for her. She will still give me her best work. She listens, she completes all her work, even when they're working in centers and I take a glance to check on my students, you can always see Emery working. She is cooperative with others, even when I questioned her about something that happened with her group. She didn't want to tell on them, but she did tell me the truth, which was the right choice. The one of the things that I love about Emery is that if you look at her, you can always tell how she's feeling. If you are unsure, if she is unsure of the lesson I've taught, I can tell. She gives me that. I'm like, are you okay, Marie? At least she tells me no and doesn't say yes. Her facial expressions will tell you all, as now you can see one of her expressions right now. She's a wonderful student, and when she first came to me, the first thing she said to me was, I love your name tag. And I couldn't figure out why. And then on the house, I found out that Emery races cars. So she is a winner in that, and now she's also a winner at school. Congratulations.
Shirley, is this your granddaughter? Great. I was gonna say that, and I wasn't sure. Shirley's one of our retired teachers here from Pleasant Valley.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you. Congratulations. We're all start to hold. Good job. All right, PB has one more awesome student to talk about. Can I have second grade teacher, Miss Giannotti, come on up? And the whole family of Dennis Torres, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Karen Giannotti. I am not surprised that I'm here tonight. Dennis came to me the first day of school wearing a shirt that said something like, "Yeah, my hair is long and no, I'm not cutting it." And I thought that that was just the perfect little shirt for him. And he has grown so much this year. I'm here to honor him tonight. He is a wonderful student that not only works hard in class, but is always helpful and kind to his peers. He is a leader in my class, the kind of student every teacher loves to have. I can count on Dennis to be ready to learn. He's always respectful. He makes winning choices, and he keeps safety first at all times. Thank you, Dennis, for being such a wonderful student, and this is an honor for me to present this to you tonight.
Congratulations.
All right, finally, PBE Support Staff Member of the Month is Desiree Murray, paraprofessional, who goes above and beyond every day, heart of gold. And Professional Staff Member of the Month, Nancy Harkins, Reading Specialist, been with me a long time and still does such high quality work on a daily basis. Great job. Two quick highlights: Veterans Day at PBE, over 75 vets came. We honor them with a parade and a little bit of a music show. And I was at parent-teacher conferences today, and thank you, parents, for showing up. Very well attended. My parking lot was full almost all day, so good job. And that's all right. Good job.
All right, keeping up with more wonderful PD students that we're very proud of. We're going to kick it off with third grade. Miss Lukaszewski is here to present the award to Mr. Bryce Delfino. Good evening, everybody. I am here not only by myself, but also on behalf of Ms. Franklin, my partner teacher, and myself to present you with the November Student of the Month for third grade for Delfino. Bryce encompasses all things a PBI bear should be. He is kind, respectful, responsible, and always is trying his best. Whenever we need a good story, Bryce is there to tell us one that will always make us smile. Ms. Vernon-Kunis and I could go on for a while about Bryce in our classrooms, but we're not the only ones that chose him for this award. Your special area teachers get the opportunity to vote and help you to stand here and receive this award. So I thought, who better to ask for a few words to describe you than those people? Ms. Hahn said, Bryce is always helpful and is kind to others. Ms. Orlowski said, Bryce is respectful and models positive behaviors for his peers. Mrs. Williams said, Bryce is enjoyable and you can always count on him to make good decisions. I took all these words for you, buddy, and I made them into a soccer ball, a keepsake to hang on your refrigerator or in your bedroom. Congratulations, buddy, and we are super proud of you. Keep up the good work.
Congratulations.
We have another wonderful student in fourth grade to recognize. Unfortunately, fortunately for her family, they are actually out of town right now, so I hope they're enjoying themselves. But we did talk, and we know that they're going to be able to watch it remotely later on. So we would like to present Ms. Hippie is going to speak about our fourth grade Student of the Month, Kaylee Kocher.
Unfortunately, Kaylee cannot be here tonight, but rest assured, we will have the opportunity to meet her in the future because she's a remarkable young lady who exemplifies the meaning of PB pride through her academic excellence and well-rounded talents. Kaylee is an excellent student in every subject, She loves to learn and demonstrates a real thirst for knowledge. Her tireless work ethic puts her at the top of her class. During our Bear Block once a cycle, she gets to go with her math specialist to do extra challenging work, and she's just so excited to have that opportunity and goes like with a joyful heart. She also, when learning new science content, next thing I know, she's in the corner of the classroom with her classmates, and they're working on a slideshow about to dig in deeper to something that we're learning in class. It's really exciting and refreshing to watch her work and bring such enthusiasm to others. But Kaylee's accomplishments extend far beyond the classroom, as she has immersed herself into every club available at PBI. This young lady has literally more meetings than I do in the morning. Like she has a whole list just for here and there. She's involved in every club, the Kindness Club, social skills groups, the PBIS Beer Club, and if a new club gets created, she's going to definitely be a part. That's the kind of kid she is. If I need help in the classroom, I just call Kaylee, locker emergency. She pops right out of her seat. I'm on it, Mr. Pippy. She's right there. She gets back to doing it. She just has an unwavering dedication to school. And her boundless enthusiasm, intellectual curiosity, and natural leadership qualities makes her a standout from her peers. And you need to watch out for Kaylee as she cements her reputation as a shining star and an example of PB pride.
All right, and last but not least, representing fifth grade, we have Miss Weaver here to present the award to Colby Fulchick. You guys can come on up.
I'm truly honored to speak about a student who consistently stands out in the classroom. Colby is a student who embodies the qualities of responsibility, kindness, and excellence. This student has been a remarkable asset to our class. From the moment she walks in, her positive attitude and sense of responsibility are evident. She approaches every task with dedication and commitment, ensuring that all assignments are completely, thoroughly done and on time. It's not just that she finishes her work, she consistently goes above and beyond, adding thoughtful details and insights that elevate the quality of her assignments. What truly sets her apart is her kindness and willingness to help others. Whether a classmate is struggling with a concept or needs assistance with an assignment, she is always ready to lend a hand. She does this without hesitation, always with a smile, and with such patience and understanding. Her ability to help and support her peers has made a significant impact on the classroom dynamic. Her work ethic, integrity, and willingness to support others are qualities that not only make her an outstanding student, but also a wonderful person to have in our class. She sets a shining example of what it means to take responsibility, help those around you, and always strive for excellence. We are lucky to have her, and I look forward to all the future successes that she will achieve. Thank you for your incredible contributions to our class. Keep up the great work.
So many wonderful things to talk about at PBI. We also wanted to recognize our staff members of the month. Our professional staff member of the month was Laura Ammerman, and support staff member of the month, Miss Jody Swanson. For billing highlights, really want to recognize our staff committees that put together two tremendous events for our school this month. The first was our Veterans Day brunch and assembly, and the second was our math family engagement night. Both of the events had huge community responses, and our staff just did an incredible job putting those events together and organizing. We're very proud of all of their hard work. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Conrad, school board members, colleagues, educators, and community. It's my pleasure to present the middle school students of the month, and I'd like to start with Mr. Werman and our 6th grade student and her family, Cameron Sheff.
Sorry, it's not built for me. Cameron Scheffner is the perfect representative for a sixth grade student of the month because of the many ideal qualities. Sorry, I'm going with glasses.
Oh.
Ideal qualities she possesses. Cameron is kind. She's a student who is nice to everyone and shares her smile easily. Cameron is hardworking and driven to do her best work. She seeks help, asks questions when learning new material, and is always prepared for all her classes. She is diligent about the completing her work, which her teachers know will always be neat and done with maximum effort. Cameron is a reliable helper for both her classmates and teachers. She's that a student we count on to complete the little tasks we need to help with to make it through the day, and that a student we rely on to help a classmate solve a problem in which or catch up on her notes. In all, Cameron exemplifies the kind of sixth grader who is a model student and a wonderful young person. She is the kind of person who will make this world a better place simply for being herself. And we are proud to be her teachers.
Good evening, everyone. Next, I get the privilege and honor to acknowledge our seventh grade representative for this evening, Ms. Megan Warden. There she is. And to present you with your award this evening, Megan, we have none other than your very own, one of the teachers, Mrs. Olin. Mrs. Olin?
I'm here representing the 17th team from the middle school. Myself, Mr. Lazoy, Mrs. Vegas, and Mr. Fleming. I'm proud to be here representing this award to Megan. She was one of the students who caught my attention very early in the school year. She's just willing to do anything and everything. She's kind. She never rolls her eyes when I ask her to work with other people. And she does her work thoroughly, which, you know, middle schoolers, the best in a lot. So I'm very proud of her. I actually sent my very first positive email home to Megan's mom at the beginning of the year because she just is exemplary. She's always unfailingly polite. She's ready with a smile and looking for what she can do next. She's the first person in the class to raise her hand, even when there's complete silence. She's back there ready to go. So I appreciate that personally. Megan is involved in school activities as well. She just raised the stage at the middle school in our latest drama production. So proud of her for that. And given her eagerness to please and her own high standards, Megan will continue to be a shining star here in Pleasant Valley for years to come. Congratulations.
All right, these moments truly make our job worthwhile. I have the honor and privilege to present our eighth grade nominee or winner, Peyton Anderson.
Peyton is an outstanding student who has been selected by the 8B team. She's driven and hardworking, making sure she always has her work done above and beyond the requirements that are set for her. She advocates for herself and asks questions when she needs clarification. And we have recently seen her come out of her shell during class time. Peyton is naturally a quiet and reserved individual, so to see her push herself to volunteer, answer questions, and work collaboratively is a wonderful thing to witness as a teacher. Additionally, she balances many school and community activities and is still able to maintain her exemplary grades. It is an honor to present Haven with the Student of the Month.
Congratulations.
Congratulations again to all of our middle school Student of the Month nominees.
Yes, we would.
And there are many monumental things happening at the middle school. First, I'd like to recognize our employees of the month for our professional staff, Mrs. Diane Dudek, 8th grade ELA teacher, and for our support staff, Mr. Mark Son. We appreciate all that they do because a school is not just the rooms and learning, it's the people who make it. And we appreciate all of our staff members for all that they do for our students. In addition, as I said, a lot of monumental things happening at the middle school. I'd like to thank our PTO for organizing our Veterans Day assembly, our stall day, and a big shout out to our drama club under the direction of Dr. Gibb and Ms. Altomos from the high school. On the weekend of November 15th, our students performed their play, Breaking Benjamins, and what makes this one special is that they wrote it themselves. So they came in over the summer to write it. They wrote parts for as many people as they could incorporate to make it an inclusive production, and we just want to give a big shout out to our drama club.
Good evening, everyone. I am here representing our high school, and it is my pleasure to introduce our high school students of the month. First up, for grade 9, I would like to invite Dr. Raisley Phillips forward. She nominated Shelby O'Neill. So Shelby and
So the cool thing about living in the district where you teach is that you get to know people outside of school as well as inside of school. And I've known Shelby and her family for quite a few years now because my son, my youngest now, is at the high school. So I get to see all the kids that I knew growing up coming over to where I teach, which is amazing. But I did nominate Shelby because I've known her for that amount of time. She is the secretary of the class of 2028, and I'm the advisor. And so that's where I really got to see who Shelby is on the ground level and what kind of work she will do to make something happen. So I asked her just out of curiosity, I know you're a great secretary for the freshman class, but what else do you do? So I had to write it down because it's a huge list. She's in a BEATM. She's our class secretary. She's in the drama club. She does Girl Scouts. She's in girls tennis. She's in the marching band. She's doing varsity scholastic scrimmage, and she was part of stage crew for the performance of Get Smart just this past weekend in high school. So I know that qualifies you to be everything in the world. So then I asked her, I said, okay, so what do you want to be when you grow up? Like all those qualifications, plus I know she does well in her classes. I see her around. She says, I want to go into journalism and be a newscaster or a radio host, which I think is incredible for her because one, she has all this background experience, so she'll be able to talk about everything and anything. And two, I have seen her moderate many friend issues, dramas, and yet somehow she manages to get along with everybody. So I think she is incredible. She deserves this recognition, and I wish her all the best in the future.
Our 10th grade student of the month was nominated by Mr. Dan Muir, who unfortunately could not be here tonight, but sent in words that he wanted to be read word for word. And the student that he nominated was Hunter Russell.
able to attend tonight's meeting honoring Hunter Russell as Pleasant Valley's 10th grade student of the month for November. Hunter is an absolute joy to have in class. He consistently demonstrates a strong motivation to excel in math and goes out of his way to support his peers with positive and constructive help whenever needed. Hunter is an amazing student who exemplifies dedication, kindness, and reliability. What sets him apart and what I admire most is his remarkable consistency. Hunter is the same thoughtful, hardworking, and cheerful individual every day. I can always count on him, not only for his excellent academic qualities, but also for his warm smile and infectious laughter. Congratulations, Hunter. You truly deserve this recognition. All right. 11th grade Student of the Month was nominated by Mr. Alexander Mountain, who also unfortunately could not be here, but I have words to share. And our Student of the Month is Areli Ramirez. Some words about Areli. As one of the editors-in-chief for the Bare Facts, Areli has stepped up her role as a leader in the journalism class. She helps others with their articles and works diligently to put the newspaper together. She is always respectful of others and has straight A's as an integral member of our classes. She goes above and beyond to participate in class. Areli has so many qualities that have helped her earn the PB Bear Pride Student of the Month Award. Areli is a prime example of a student who demonstrates Bear Pride and should be extremely proud of her actions. And our 12th grade Student of the Month was nominated by Mr. Thomas J. Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. Excuse me. I am here to honor Miss Allie Snyder, a senior, not only in my English class, but also in my creative writing class. I want to share a story with you that occurred during the school year, pretty early on. At the beginning of the school year, I approached Allie Snyder, along with another student of mine, Alexis Sprague, about the possibility of collaborating with another student on a group assignment that would span the marking period. Both girls were immediately open to the idea, expressing a strong willingness to work with their peer. While I wasn't sure what to expect, I did feel confident that they would handle the situation well. What truly exceeded my expectations, however, was the way in which Allie and her friend Alexis not only embraced this opportunity, but went above and beyond to make their classmate feel included. Their actions were nothing short of remarkable. As many of you know, I have a child with special needs, and it was incredibly heartwarming to witness the compassion and the teamwork these young ladies demonstrated in working with their classmate. Their kindness and collaboration served as a powerful reminder of the positive impact that inclusive and supportive behaviors can have on our school community. I am incredibly proud of you, Allie. It has been a true privilege to play a small role in your educational journey. Moments like these are what make teaching so rewarding. Your actions have demonstrated not only academic dedication, but also empathy and leadership. Great job, Allie. Continue being you, continue being an outstanding role model. You are making a difference in ways that extend far beyond the classroom. Great job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This month, our staff member is Ms. Suzanne Hunsaker, who I can say was a huge part of why we had such an awesome and successful homecoming dance. And our support staff of the month was Mr. Mike Borger, who is one of those people who is always running around and doing all the things behind the scenes that you never actually see. But one thing we want to say is he is an amazing baseball player, and we do have evidence that he is still in shape from this because
he dunked Dr. Conrad twice at the bonfire. And we might have video of it. So looking at some high school highlights, I feel as though this has been a very connected month for PV High School. One of the things is we had a very successful program called Rachel's Challenge come to our high school, which really celebrated students being inclusive of one another and looking out for things like bullying and peer relationships and really embracing those positive relationships. We also just this week got to see a lot of students connecting with an audience at the fall play Get Smart. And I want to add one more highlight. I'm going to break the rule and do three. Because this year I was able to be part of a tradition that has been occurring at the high school where Mr. Miller and all of his teachers and paraprofessionals host a Thanksgiving dinner for the life skills class. And it was just so wonderful to see those students interacting, practicing their social skills, practicing thankfulness. And I was just really joyful to be a part of it. So great things happening right now.
Oh, okay. So okay. I was just double checking to see if we had a Bears Academy student this month, but congratulations to all our students of the month. Congratulations parents for raising such outstanding students. And if there's room, I think they'd like to take some pictures out in the lobby. Are you going to try? Okay. So if you could go to the lobby for some pictures at this time. We'll take a few minutes to do a turnaround here. Hi. Out one door in the other. Oh, we can hear Lewis.
I know. Maybe you're early enough.
Could you?
Trying to direct everyone's
I didn't know you were, Desiree was here. She was the staff of the month, right? Yeah. Couldn't see her.
And Megan. Warden, Maddie's sisters.
Oh, okay. Guess I didn't put that two together either. Well, that's true. You're right. Mr. Sarnelli. Do you think everybody's in that wants to come in?
They're still going through the medals.
Oh, they're still, I can't see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We're just gonna fill up all the seats and then.
Oh, okay. Okay, but I didn't realize they were going through the mess. Okay,
As far as I can see out.
okay, I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't. Okay, thank you.
They're running out of room.
Okay. Just thought I'd see if I could start. I was thinking maybe I could. Oh, I think so. You can get through. You can get through.
We did, we had, so do you want me to address that? So it would be, we did this.
Yep.
Do you want to announce and then I'll just take that?
So, yeah, I'll start.
Okay, sure, yeah.
And then I'll announce it before we do Tammy's.
Okay, sure, yeah. Okay, no problem.
I'm gonna overlook for some reasons. So oh, okay. You know where that is. We still going through? Okay.
Should we be able to go to a bigger room since there's a lot of taxpayers out there that are also waiting? And they have a right to also be in there and not try to.
Where do you suggest to go?
We're also asked to go on for
Yeah.
Same thing.
It is being blind.
We're in a room so that the rest of the community that pays taxes here can also be a part of it.
I mean, hard to set up audio. Is there any way to stream it on that TV?
I'm not sure if streaming on the TV.
Is there any way to stream on the
Yes,
TV?
free auditorium, there's one room, high school,
Stream
over
on the
here,
TV.
there's one place to go.
But we wouldn't have the audio set up. We would not have the audio set up.
That sucks for that. I mean, sorry.
You would not be able to hear.
Oh, you have a voice though, right? You can speak.
No, I can't.
I don't
We're
think
trying
it's
to.
easier if people are paying taxes and bring back this meeting.
I understand. Is there a way to do that, Chuck, or not?
Take a look. I'm not optimistic that TV stuff. We have set up for training, but I could look for me.
Do we?
Can we table this until
Well-
another meeting so that we can
well-
schedule it somewhere bigger?
Well,
We're all here.
Is it better to do it upstairs?
I'm sure, is there a reason why we can't move to an auditorium?
because we would have no microphones.
So I'm sure we'll wait.
No, we're not gonna wait to have the audio set up. We don't have the people here to set it up. All right, All right. Will you please? I did not know that. I don't know who you asked, when you asked. I have no clue. Okay. So what we're going to do is we have one item on our agenda that prior to that, I was going to make a comment. So we're going to move forward with our meeting. And the next item on our agenda is our community questions. So Dr. Conrad, did we have any community questions this evening?
Yes, there was one community question submitted by Donna Yosbiak of Chestnut Hill. She was asking about when the FBLA team would receive their championship jackets. I had actually followed up with the current FBLA advisor who told me that they're actually not interested in jackets. She's happy for the fact that we continuously acknowledge the students and celebrate their successes. And that's something that we're going to continue to do. We promote FBLA. We actually have a large number of students that participate in FBLA. And the board has been committed to providing up to $15,000 for students to travel for these large state and national competitions. So we'll continue to maintain that support here in Pleasant Valley School District. So that's it for this evening.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Conrad. At this time, I would like to let the public know that we will be removing agenda items 11B and 12B this evening. Well, if you'd let me finish, I will explain. At this time, as you can see, we've had a large turnout concerning those agenda items. I'm sure that you are all here because of those agenda items. And I take full responsibility because we were going to do a presentation on those agenda items and the reasons and the backup as to why we were doing what we're doing. So as you can see, because of the large turnout, what we'd like to do is in the near future, we're going to do our presentation. We will let you know when it's going to be, and we'll move to a bigger room and you can all join us for that presentation at that time. We heard you. So again, we were doing a presentation this evening as to our reasons why, but I feel, well, the board felt that it would be better if we postponed it and go to a larger room and allow everyone to see the presentation at that time. I would like to ask our solicitor, Mr. Gilsbach, to give you a little bit of information on the procedure because it definitely, from what I gather, was misunderstood or not understood. So, Mr. Gilsbach.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I want to comment. There are two agenda items that we are removing from the list.
We can't hear you.
Is that better? Can you hear me better now?
I'll give you mine too. Try two.
There we go. Is that better for everybody? Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. There are two agenda items that were on the list. One was to accept the resignation of the superintendent. The other was to approve a new contract with the superintendent. Pursuant to the school code, superintendents have a different process by which they have a contract. And because the superintendent currently has a contract that is not completed and would not be completed prior to the start of the new proposed contract, it was necessary for him to resign to end the current contract that he has. Given that we are not moving forward this evening with a new contract, his resignation would not take effect either. That was the reason. There's a procedural requirement that because a superintendent is in the middle of a contract, they're required to essentially end that contract before they can enter into a new one. Simply, those were two procedural mechanisms for the board to consider those options. But both options have been removed from the agenda for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Gilsbach. At this time, I would like to let you know that next on our agenda is Pleasant Valley Citizens. It's on agenda items only, so since those two items have been removed, public comment will not be taken on those agenda items at the first comment section. At the second comment section at the end of the meeting, there will be, you can discuss anything you would like on any item. So you'll have to be patient and wait till the second speaking at the end of the meeting.
So when are you scheduling?
We do not know. As I said, we do not know. We will let you know.
Notice?
Will it be announced?
Yes, it will be announced.
How will you announce it?
Well, we have our website, we have our Facebook page. So I'm thinking between those two, we will do it that way.
And how much notice is there?
As far as meeting? All right, we are going to continue on our agenda at this time. Is there any Pleasant Valley citizens that would like to address the board this evening on agenda items only? Please come to the podium, state your name and the township you reside in, and there is a 3-minute limit.
Hi, everyone. My
Oh,
name
I'm
is
sorry,
Amber.
I'm sorry. I just forgot something. Sorry, Ann. Just stay there, please. Secretary's report. Mrs. Smale, please.
Good evening. Tonight I'm requesting approval of the minutes of the meeting held on November 14th,
Can't hear ya.
2024, and approval of the November 25th, 2024 board meeting agenda, including removal of items 11B and 12B.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Galler, seconded by Mr. Clark. It is asking for approval of our minutes from our last meeting on November 14th and the agenda for this meeting with the removal of items 11B and 12B. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. At this time, again, Pleasant Valley citizens, Ann, please.
Hi, Ann Gravel, Polk Township. On the agenda, we want to change the policy that the school board president can stay on as president for longer than 2 terms. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. We need to switch them out. That is why the 2-term limit is there. Everyone needs a chance to be president. Thank you.
Hi, Denise Hopley, Chestnut Hill Township. Taxpayers deserve a voice in the decisions that impact their district. Yet
Could you tell me which agenda item you're speaking to?
taxpayers.
Which agenda item?
8. Taxpayers deserve a voice in the decision that impact their district. Yet community surveys still need to be out to gather their input. Their oversight is unacceptable. It's imperative that we prioritize gathering taxpayer feedback to ensure the community's needs and perspectives are acknowledged and addressed. Engaging residents in our process is crucial for fostering transparency and effective decision-making within our district. Why do they not have input? Taxpayers need to know how many more administrator positions you are going to hire. Additionally, we need insight into decision-making process adding administrators.
I'm sure she's on that.
And adding to that, as per your school board policy, the board president serves a maximum of 2 terms. Stakeholders need clarification on why the board president has served 3 terms. What is your plan for the upcoming December election for board president? It's important to note that according to the board policy, this president is not eligible for a 4th term, and this current term needs to align with board regulations. How will stakeholders know what the community asks throughout this district? We don't get answers. We don't have a summary of the questions asked and answered. We as taxpayers need to know where the community committee meetings are held, as well as their schedule and timing. In addition, we need to know where the minutes are to those meetings, which summarize the input and responses from administration.
Mrs. Hopley, I don't believe you're speaking to an agenda item at this time. You did it previously, but at this point, I'm not sure, under item 8, which is policies, which policy are you speaking to?
Policy, they have a policy with.
No, that's on our agenda. That's on our agenda.
Okay, let me just double check.
The 2 under 8 are, the one you spoke to, organization, but the other one is opioid policy.
Okay, we did address the
Yeah, you
elections
did.
coming up.
You did, yeah.
Got that, then I will wait.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? At this time, seeing no one else, sorry.
Hi,
Hi.
Carrie Fernandez, living in Chestnut Hill Township, right near Bronzeville. I have a series of questions, if you would bear with me.
You need to let me know what agenda item you're going to be
Oh,
speaking to. 8?
Yes.
Okay,
We're to 8B, I should say, policy 005.
okay, thank you.
The first question, what are the grounds to be established for the removal of a board member to ensure accountability and transparency? Question number 2, in what way could eliminating term limits improve the board's effectiveness and encourage fresh perspectives? Thirdly, shouldn't the community have a voice in the removal process, given that we played an integral part in electing the individual to office? And finally, my fourth question. What compelling reasons justify the need for policy changes at this point in time? And what are the benefits moving forward? I thank you for your time.
Hi, number 8, Donna Deal, Eldred Township. Does the board have to follow the rules of the PSSA? I know you have to report to them. You strictly have to follow their rules. Is it in there about the limits of how long terms?
I'm sorry, we're not going to answer any questions at this time.
What is the reason?
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board on agenda items?
You're not gonna answer anyway.
Hello, Chantel Davis, Chestnut and Polk Township. My question is regarding 9, human resources. How do you determine the hourly rate for all of our support staff, as well as our teachers, assistant coaches? That's my question. My question is, how do you determine everyone's salary? Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else approach the podium at this time.
I want to know if.
Excuse me, you need
why
to,
Lori Jacobs.
and the township,
Ross.
and the agenda item that you're speaking to.
And what?
The agenda item that you're speaking to.
I'm speaking to the resignation of the superintendent.
It's been removed from the agenda. If you'd like to comment, you can come back at our
Well,
second.
I'm still going to comment, and the thing is.
That's fine.
if
Not
he's-
now, you're not. You need to come back at our
Okay.
second.
When will that date be? And where?
No. It's a second comment period in our agenda at the end of the agenda this evening.
It'll probably be in about 35
You let us
minutes or
get
so.
through our
Okay.
agenda, you can come back then.
This is just for agenda items only.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Are there any more?
Is there anyone else out in the vestibule?
Does anybody have any comments to put on this agenda?
You got some other comment? No one else responded out there.
Okay, thank you.
Hold it. Hold it.
Sorry, just, I can't hear anything out in the hallway, but just regarding this.
You need to
agenda item
state,
8B.
you need to state your
I'm
name.
sorry, I know, Janet Dooner, Polk Township.
Thank you.
Thank you, we're my TV pride, we used to have TV pride, so just 8B about limiting, the term limits, just making sure that it gets back on record that we don't want to see them eliminated. We stand for the term limits on the president's, position and any other positions. We believe in term limits. If you're doing your job, maybe we would want to vote you back in, but if you're not doing your job, then we want term limits. So
Yeah.
please stand on term limits.
Anyone else trying to get through? Okay, not seeing anyone trying to get through, we're going to move on our agenda. At this time, Treasurer's Report, Mrs. Surface.
Yes, good evening. Tonight I'm seeking approval for items 4A through 2A's information only.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Berger and seconded by Mrs. Zip. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business. I was just going to say Mr. Fitzgerald. Sorry, Mr. Gilsbach.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Does anyone else have any other unfinished business? Okay, moving on, we'll move on to new business, Monroe Career and Technical Institute. Mrs. Surface.
Yes, good evening. There was no meeting. Our next meeting will be on December 9th.
Thank you. Colonial IU, Mr. Galler.
Yes, we do not have a meeting for November. We do have one scheduled for December. My report will follow.
Okay, thank you. PSBA liaison, Mrs. Zip.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Education report, yes, I do have a brief report, and I apologize that it's not, I did not turn it in, it's not in the book. At our working session last meeting, we had two presentations. The first one was to do with Northwest Evaluation Association. That is a service that provides assessments and tools to measure student growth and inform instruction. What it is, the assessments are on is math, reading, language usage, and science. MAP, which is the MAP growth, which is the measure of academic progress growth, is a test for K through 12 students that measures academic achievement and growth regardless of skill level. I know in the previous presentation, what did I write here? I was wondering if we had teacher involvement in this, not with NWBA. So then what, the two dates that were listed in there, the March 19th that we did do something, and then also August 20th and 21st, who was involved in those? Oh, it said March of 24 though. That was a typo? Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay. And I know that you listed districts that are using MAP, which was East Stroudsburg, and then there was some others. Have we been to visit any of those, or? We are going to. Okay, very good. Then the second one that evening had to do with an update on our reading review program, our reading review. And that started in the spring of 2024. And then we also took it back up in the fall of 2024 with an expanded committee. And then in September 19th, we reviewed three different reading programs: Savas, I hope I'm saying that right, My View, Open Court, and Amplify CKLA. Those three were reviewed on September the 19th. And then on November the 13th, we reviewed Wonders, EL Education, HMH into Reading. And then at that point, finalists were chosen. And two programs that were chosen was Wonders and HMH into Reading. The timetable, teachers will now be able, they started on November 18th through February the 13th. Teachers have the chance to examine the 2 finalist resources, which again are Wonders and HMH. And then in February of next year, teachers will be able to provide their input. And I guess I have a couple questions. And on that, after they provide their input on that day, are they going to make a decision, or that wasn't included?
We're gonna get input before that day, we need to approve it by February.
Okay, that was going to be one of my questions, actually. What is the timeline to approve this?
You want to approve February, so we can start the training of it in June.
So when will the teachers provide their input?
Once the materials, there was, on the timetable that, Ms. Piaro presented, there was like, 3 weeks span.
11/18 to 2/13, it said. So they're gonna convene, I don't, so if you want approval though in February, you're ending it prior to February then? So it's gonna run 11/18 to what?
I would have to go back to that sheet. I cannot.
No, that's what, it's right here, I have it. That's the dates she had in the presentation. So it was 11/18 to 2/13. Teachers will have a chance to examine the samples.
I believe at this point, teachers have already been provided the samples. One of the requests that we just had was teachers having the opportunity to either go to other schools or
That
kind
was
of
another
take a
question
little
I
bit
had.
more of an in-depth look. And that's something that we're looking to provide, obviously, to them prior to February. And again, we're talking about an entire year turnaround, getting a lot of staff input, but we're also trying to be timely because we have to remember the goalpost for us is to make sure that we have this available for training for 2 days at the end of the school year to make sure that our staff can work through the new curriculum prior to the start of next school year. So using that as kind of our backward map, we've been able to, receive feedback from the individuals that were looking at the different programs, narrow that down to 2 with the intention to then, and the feedback we've gotten so far, actually, last week in a meeting was that they're both, highly rated programs, they're nationally recognized curriculum, and they're going to support the standards in Pennsylvania. So.
Okay, I have a lot of questions about this. I'm sorry. So if they have the resources now to review, when are we saying we're going to collect their feedback? Well, I'm sorry. I just, and, all right.
I would say, from my standpoint, it would be the next 3 months. It would be December, January, and February, with the intention that we can do a final review and full recommendation to the board at the end of February, with a contract to follow, with then the timeline to maintain in June the training necessary for our teachers who were part of the process in the selection.
Okay. So with MAP then, we're asking our teachers to start that program in the beginning of 25, 26 school year, right?
Yes, it's so for clarification, I've actually worked with NWEA MAP as a high school principal. MAP is an assessment. It's an adaptive assessment. So typically it's about a 30 to 40 minute computer-based test. If you get the first question wrong, it might give you a little bit of an easier question. If you get the first question right, it might give you a little bit more of a challenging question. And what it does is it ultimately measures how that student is performing similar to other students at that grade level within, a comparison of Pennsylvania, let's say. This is very similar to iReady. The idea, though, however, is that we can use the information of how students are performing in a class, and we can help to differentiate their learning. So, for example, when we can identify out of a class of 20 students that 7 of them might have struggled on what's called a RIT score, that teacher will have that information at their fingertips. They'll know exactly what standards they're struggling with. So that way, when we do other interventions and supports to help bring those students who are struggling up to par with the rest of the students, it's very prescriptive and it gives that information as well as a cadre of resources. So.
Okay, so we're looking to implement both of these for the 25-26 school year,
That's correct.
correct?
Parts of iReady will still use iReady as a resource to
Yes.
support our curriculum, NWA to be a testing that is needed for academic growth.
I have to tell you where my concern is, or I don't know, I'm thinking it's a concern that I don't know how much training is needed on math for our teachers. And we're asking to start a new reading program too. So I'm just really worried.
NWA is not a curriculum program. It is something we're using to chart progress.
I understand, but will they need training on that?
Yes.
They will.
They'll, yeah. They will need two parts training. The first
Okay.
part is the implementation, as I talked about, how to actually administer the test, how to slow down a student who's just clicking through. So that is a part of the training that we would provide. The other part of the training and also professional development that we're looking at in the fall of next year is to do something with the data. So it's great that we have this data. We identify students are at different places. What are we going to now do with that data? How are we going to inject curriculum that's going to be very helpful for those students? So this isn't as in-depth as a full reading curriculum. This is a support and aid, a tool that ultimately helps drive that curricular resource aligned to the PA standards.
One other question. iReady, our math program. When does that expire, or when are we gonna have to renew that? Of this, of,
August 25th.
and that's for grades 1 through 5, that piece, or both pieces?
No, we use parts of that now.
I know we do, but they were bought different times, so that's why I didn't know. They're both expiring in August of this coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit longer with the one, but the majority will expire in August.
For grades probably 1 through 5, and then 6 through 8 is a different date.
It's close, I have to, but it's all within this next week.
Okay, and are we just going to renew? Do we know? Or,
We're gonna renew for a year so we can get the math teachers together to review a resource that would support the math program. So we're gonna go through a review like we did with ELA.
which would be during the, so we're gonna renew for a year, so we'll renew it for the 25-26.
Correct, because we didn't want our teachers to have to do two.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was at.
And I want to actually add this because I think it's important for people to understand. So we've had a lot of great opportunity for feedback from our teachers and staff, not only in the secondary, but in the elementary. Part of the problem is that you could imagine with curriculum, you have people that are no longer here that embedded curriculum many years ago. And, what we want to do is obviously educate with fidelity. So when we talk to staff, we've gotten actually two bits of information, which is somewhat conflicting. One is that we just have so many resources, and then others have indicated we have so few resources. So what we're trying to do is look at our entire curriculum, K to 12, with the focal point being reading, to say, what do we have, right? So there's an expression, what's on the plate, we keep adding to the plate. We've asked the question, what do we need to add? Like, what is the primary thing that we're going to utilize as a staff that's not only going to teach the curriculum, but we're also talking with our staff too about what are some of those other supplemental areas, MTSS, multi-tiered systems of supports. When we're identifying students that are struggling, what interventions specifically are we putting in place? And are they accessible for our teachers? Because oftentimes, as a former teacher, I know that I might be limited in my knowledge of all the resources that are out there, what the school district had purchased, what they hadn't purchased. So what we're trying to do is be very methodical about making sure that our staff are set up for success, that our curriculum is something that they're utilizing and that they're part of that conversation. And then also trying to look at all of these other resources that are out there and say, we might not need those. They might have been helpful 5-10 years ago, but let's focus in on some main curricula that we can use for Pleasant Valley School District. So hopefully that kind of enlightens you a little bit to give you some context as to some of the conversations we've been having and trying to make this a better fit for obviously our staff, but then also for our students as well. So.
Thank you.
I do have a question on
Sure.
this. When we were talking about professional development for the staff, what sort of time are we looking to allocate for our staff to be able to dive into this?
Sure. Definitely substantial amounts of time. So when we're looking at the last two in-service days for the reading curriculum, we're talking about almost 16 hours right then and there. I guess technically 13 or so, 14 if you talk about like work day, less lunch and stuff, but really trying to delve deep into that curriculum. Obviously, as we normally do, there are people that are very interested in becoming basically a point person or a leader within that grade team or within that department. So, obviously it's going to be incumbent on them to have the resources necessary and to also be a valuable resource to their colleagues as well. So we certainly want to take our time going into the curriculum, not only selecting the right curriculum, but I think the other piece too, and we talked about this last week actually with elementary staff, is that, if we don't set aside the right quantity of time to make sure that they're comfortable with the material, we all know that it's going to be very difficult to teach that curriculum. So again, we're going to really rely on the feedback from our teachers, even after that training, circling back around, do we need to have additional summer workshop trainings as needed to support our teachers to get ready for the 25-26 school year? And again, we're not even done 2024, and we're already looking at next school year. So there's a couple different levels and variances that we're looking at for improvements for our future in Pleasant Valley.
Anyone else?
Seems like there's more professional development being involved. It never ends. I know we're right now with Act 55 and trying to get that all in there. Is this just stuff that's being considered on our staff for what they got to get all these requirements in for?
Yeah.
I can say that NWA has already done it this year in March. We're going to have a teacher go through that. We'll start with the ELA program at the end of the school year, and we already have to plan into next year with our calendar, but where those trainings need to happen. So we want to make sure they have that. So right when we come back in September, they'll be training for NWA. And I do want you to know the teachers will, I went back to my notes, while we're talking. Teachers will provide their input by February 14th, and then at the second board meeting in February, we'll bring in one more. I just wanted to go back and find, sorry I didn't have it ready.
That's okay. That's what was on the time frame.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It just didn't have the date as when we were going to approve it.
It'll be the second meeting in February.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on to finance, Mrs. Surface.
Yes, we will be calling on the financial items in number 16 and 17 later in the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Athletic report, Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes, good evening. I'd like to have a huge congratulations to our student athletes who signed on National Signing Day. National Signing Day has traditionally been the first day of the high school senior can sign binding national letter of intent for a collegiate sport within a school that is a member of the NCAA. It's a high honor for those students to do that, and I think we need to take a moment now to just celebrate those successes of our students, because I think it's an awesome thing. So congratulations to all those that are watching and are proud of that. Secondly, it's not really athletics related, but it's this tool that we have called Team Snap. Our coaches need to start using it. We are paying for it, so it should be used. It should not be non-approved device or apps, you want to call it, that are being used. So coaches need to be using them, and our athletic director needs to hold accountability for them to be used. Lastly, good luck to all the winter athletes in this upcoming season. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. Mrs. Zip, policy.
We have 4 policies on the agenda tonight for first reading, and then we're voting on or approving 4 for second reading in the agenda.
Thank you. Capital improvement, Mr. Berger.
Since our last board meeting on November 19th, our design team met with the township supervisors to provide our plan updates and got approval to proceed with our renovation plans. Our design team met today to review project status and discuss pending renovation proposals. We are extending the time for proposals to be submitted to December 11th from December 5th. A design team meeting is scheduled to begin bid analysis on the day after, on December 12th. And on the 16th, we plan to provide our presentation to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clark, Technology.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Security, Mr. Walters.
No new information.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Superintendent's reports, please.
Tonight, I'm seeking approval for agenda items 7B through 7D. Agenda items 8A and items 7E and 8B are informational.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Clark, seconded by Mr. O'Keefe. Is there any discussion? At this time, Dr. Conrad, if you could please give an update on policy 005.
Sure. Yeah, so first off, just to kind of want to bring us back around. So one of the things that you'll notice is that there's been a lot of policies that have been on recent board agendas. And so I want to bring to the community's attention, because we've had obviously a high turnover of administration here making recommendations for certain policies. Some of the policies that you actually look at are back from 2015, 2014, 2010. And so what happens is PSBA, Pennsylvania School Board Association, provides us with a legal review on a monthly basis. That's something that I sit down and review with my executive assistant. We go through and we look at the policy recommendations. We compare that with the policy notes. And so what we then do, and what I do specifically, is I then have to bring up updated policies that usually cite legal changes, and you see that change in red. So as you know, you're taking time to look at the agenda, which is again public. It's something that you can always see. Please take the time to look at the updates in the policy, and please draw your attention to many of the policies that are very much outdated in Pleasant Valley School District. Specifically, I want to give you an update on policy 005, because that was something that we were hearing about earlier. So I want to read this verbatim from PSBA, so this way you have context into legal sightings. Policy 005, organization. Organization was updated to reflect the United States Court of Appeals Third Circuit decision in Montemero versus Jim Thorpe Area School District. In this case, the court found that Pennsylvania law establishes that board officers have a property interest in their job, and as an officer of the board and as such cannot be removed for such office without notice of the reason for removal and due process. The selection of the policy regarding officers was revised to appropriately address this court decision. The section in the policy regarding appointments was revised to generally state that the removal of an appointee was based on the terms of the contract or provisions of applicable law. Policy 005 is recommended to assist with implementing consistent standards for organization meeting. And it's in essence, our previous policy that recommends, potentially limiting terms, and obviously that's a decision based on the school board directors during the reorganization meeting. PSBA has taken that out. And I think it's also because what you're finding across the state is a couple of things. You're finding board changeovers, which then can somewhat be counterproductive to progress being made in schools. Okay, so when you have new board members that come on board, sometimes different focus areas are akin to what they're, elected to do. And so sometimes that can hinder growth, not all the time, but it can. That also leads to administrative turnover. And that's something I think Pleasant Valley, we can all recognize, just looking over there. in the past few years. We've seen a lot of administrative turnover as well, which I think creates a lot of chaos, not only in Pleasant Valley, but you're seeing this across the state. I believe there's 8 new superintendents within our intermediate unit. So again, thinking about the legacy that those previous superintendents had, and then changing over to new superintendents, different things kind of become focal points. For us, from a legal standpoint, what we're always trying to do is look at what the policies entail. We're also trying to look at what are the recommendations from PSBA. We're also conferring with our solicitor to make the appropriate recommendations. And just for clarification, when we do a first read, it's not a policy isn't approved on first read. Our board policy actually states that we have a first read, which is an opportunity to bring things to light, to have a discussion. The second read is the second read in adoption. So if this policy 005, amongst others, continues on to the next agenda, then it'll go up for a vote for those necessary adjustments based on applicable law are adjusted for. So please keep that in mind, because again, we get our resources from court cases, PSBA, and our district solicitor. So I just wanted to clarify some of those points that you might be thinking about for further discussion. And one last thing too, I just figure I could say this if you don't mind. So there are opportunities. I mean, we've been very open, myself and our administration team say that if there are some things that you're concerned about or issues, please, there's community questions that we answer. Usually I have one person in the community, which I don't believe is the reflection of everyone in the community that asks questions. But as you have questions about certain policies, we're more than happy to explain why those policies are being recommended. Hopefully tonight you at least understand a little bit more about some of those outdated policies and the need for applicable changes. So thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
Moving on to human resources, Mrs. Fulmer.
Yes, good evening. Tonight I'm seeking approval of items 9B through 9H. Items 9I through 9J are informational.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walters, seconded by Mr. O'Keefe. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
I'm seeking approval of items 10B through 10C. Items 10B through 10E are informational.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Surface, seconded by Mr. Walters. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
Moving on to curriculum, Dr. Howard. Thank you. Moving on to operations, Mr. Smith.
Jamie, seeking approval of item 14B and C.
So move, Galler.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Galler and seconded by Mrs. Zip. Is there any discussion?
Just have a question here. Is that still through Kramer's?
Yes.
As it's the price that we discussed the other night? Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
Building reports, Pleasant Valley Administration. Anything you'd like to add to your report this evening?
Tremendous things are happening at PBE. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Top-notch things are happening at PBI.
Monumental things are happening.
Inclusive things are happening at the high school.
Great, excellent. And I would just recommend for those of you that either might not have children in particular buildings, I believe we have copies of the building reports when you first come in. So please grab one on the way out. It's really incredible to see the hard work that our staff is putting forth and the great things that are happening in each of the buildings. So thank you, administration. Thank you, staff. You're doing a phenomenal job. So, thanks. Moving on, business management, Mrs. Snell.
Tonight I am requesting approval of items 16B through 16F. Items 16G through 16I are informational.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Berger, seconded by Mrs. Surface. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
I am also requesting approval of item 17B.
So moved.
Second, Geller.
A motion by Mr. Berger, seconded by Mr. Galler. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Mr. Gilsbach, anything under new business?
I do not have anything, but would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Pleasant Valley citizens, it's now your turn to come to the podium, address the board. There is a 3-minute limit on any topic, and we do have 1 hour set aside for comment period.
Ann Gravel, Polk Township. I have some questions about the educational, the wonders, the HMA and the map. You talked about the teachers being involved. Has the community been involved? Has parents been involved with this? I'm channeling my inner Ronald Reynolds right now. When does the parents and the community get to see these meetings, and when are you gonna hold a meeting that's gonna be official? So parents and the people in the community can see what exactly you are looking at for your educational purposes. Again, you guys talk up here and the community knows nothing about what books you're doing, this map, the iReady. There's no public input whatsoever. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Again, I'm asking that you guys post something and have people from the community in these decisions as well, because believe it or not, it's my money. Thank you.
Linda Zach, Ross Township. And before we go to the next meeting, I just have a few questions and statements. 60% of our school counselors have resigned in the last couple of years, 60%. For the last 3 years, record numbers of students have left to go to cyber charters, which are private. This is costing us about $10 million a year. More than 20 grievances have been filed last year against our administrators. The highest number of administrators ever in our history. We have 32 administrators, yet our enrollment is falling. How can this be? I've talked about the Singer Family Foundation. We lost $270,000 because for 3 years, someone didn't manage to get the application in. Our PV Bears Academy is outsourced. It's taught by Seneca Valley teachers, not ours. I think we have one teacher that teaches K-5. Why are we outsourcing even that? Why have administrators been given jobs as grant writers, yet they have hired an outside organization to find grants and then hired another outside organization to tell us how to spend the grant money? Why were our administrators paid for a job that they really didn't have to do? I'll leave everything off there. I was going to talk about the raises and all that stuff because we can do that again. But these are questions that I think people don't know about, and I think they should. Thank you.
Hector Ramirez, Chestnut Hill. Listen, guys, I get that just because I don't understand why certain decisions are made doesn't mean there isn't a good reason for that decision. But everyone here came here to get questions answered. I'm not insulting intelligence of the board members, but we don't expect to have our intelligence insulted either. You guys had enough time to choose a larger room for this meeting. I can't believe every one of you on the dais didn't expect a larger than usual turnout. And if you didn't expect it, that just shows how out of touch you are with your district and why you shouldn't be here. Now, another possibility is this room size was chosen on purpose as a delay tactic. There you go. Once again, that shows a reason why perhaps you shouldn't be where you're sitting now. Unfortunately, the children that came here to be honored as Bear of the Month, they fell victim to it in not having enough space where someone had to be called in from out in the hall just to come in here. That kind of childishness shouldn't be done by us adults. We know better. You guys know better. So I am asking that for the next meeting, where the items that were removed from the agenda is going to be held, right off the bat, pick the largest indoor venue that you guys have access to. Give advanced notice, not a few days, not 24 hours, at least 1 week, if not longer, notice, so that everybody can attend that wants to attend. Don't worry about using too big a space. The seats will be filled. Thank you.
Hi, Denise Oakley, Chestnut Hill Township. Okay, are we not in negotiations this year with the faculty and staff? Negotiations are essential consideration when discussing salary increases across the board and administration. Salary increases affect the overall budget. Engaging in negotiations during this timeframe impacts faculty morale and our institution's financial health. It's crucial to ensure that any decisions align. Let me backtrack. It's crucial to ensure that any decisions align with all stakeholders' needs. Again, how can taxpayers keep up this pace? There seems to be a lot of focus on administrative salary increases, but what about our students' needs? What about our teachers' needs? We must consider the curriculum, activities, and all other essential aspects of their education and their training. It's crucial to ensure that financial decisions do not compromise the quality of education. Again, taxpayers deserve a voice in the decisions that impact this district, yet the community surveys still need to be sent out to gather that input to the community. This oversight is unacceptable. It is imperative that we prioritize gathering taxpayer feedback to ensure communities' needs and perspectives are acknowledged, addressed, and we are informed. Engaging residents in this process is crucial for fostering transparency and affect decision-making within the district. Why do we not have input? We as taxpayers need to know where this community committee meetings are held, the schedule, the date, the time. We need to know the agenda. We need to know questions that have been asked and answered and produced to us so we can see the results and the communication and the transparency. How are the stakeholders going to know what the community asks throughout the district? The description of monies donated to the PV student by St. Luke's needs to include detail about the purpose of the funds, such as scholarships, educational programs, specific student support initiatives. Transparency in this context is needed to understand how the funds are allocated and used to benefit the students. We need regular updates or reports that outline this impact and the donations to ensure the donors see how their contributions are making a difference. If a specific platform or document outlines this information, why is it not public information? Another question, where's the historic Pleasant Valley National Championship banner title?
Mrs. Hopley, I'm sorry, your time limit is up.
Why are recognition banners
Excuse me?
received by Pleasant Valley District not
I'm
hanging
sorry, Mrs.
proudly
Hopley, your
in the high
time,
school
Mrs. Hopley.
administration building and
You can
Griffith
come,
Hall?
Mrs. Hopley, you can come back.
Give them respect.
Teresa Pesch, Eldred Township. So going back to the laws Dr. Conrad kindly recited is, I'll go back to Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court in regards to the Sunshine Act. So Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court explained in provision section 712.1 that there's only 3 exceptions to change the agenda within a 24-hour period. 1, the 3 exceptions. 1, emergency business. 2, de minimis business arising in the last 24 hours. 3, de minimis business arising by a resident during a meeting. And I'd also like to to cite that school districts have the discretion to update published agenda to add or remove items at least 24 hours before the meeting. However, agenda changes made less than 24 hours before a meeting must be limited to the items discussed above, which are those 3 items that I mentioned. So with that said, with the Sunshine Act, and it is within the Commonwealth Court, is for you to just take 2 items off the agenda during a meeting should not be allowed.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nadine Calhoun, Ross Township. I'm here tonight as a parent of a sophomore and senior. My son also graduated 2 years ago. To have so many parents as well as other community members show up here tonight, you can see you guys have provoked the proverbial hornet's nest. Parents are upset, community members are upset over an agenda item that we didn't have enough time to find out more information about. Maybe not necessarily the outcome of that agenda item, but as one of the other attendees said, we didn't have any information on it. It's not a question and answer session, so we're not getting any answers tonight from you guys. As such, you leave us to assume our own, to come to our own conclusions. For your trying to slip in Dr. Conrad's resignation and rehiring. Amen. Human nature, we're not going to assume the best. So we would like some answers. You gave the taxpaying community no chance to review or question this. Dr. Conrad could very well be deserving of a raise. But given the outrage of the community over this agenda item and the number of parents who've expressed their displeasure with the school district, as someone else stated, the number of people who have pulled their children out of school for other alternatives, that's unlikely. I look forward to hearing your justification for raising his salary to that of a school district with 3 times as many students. Someone posted on Facebook, Bethlehem Area School District, their superintendent is getting over $200,000 a year, which is the proposed salary for Dr. Conrad. They have 3 times as many students. They have 12,000 students. That's just an approximation, but come on. And their tax base, I'm sure, is a lot more than the Pleasant Valley community.
Amen.
So I look forward to this meeting and your justification for raising his salary. I would just like to say to the board members, if this agenda item is passed against the wishes of the majority of the community, we will remember that when it's time to vote for your reelection.
Folks, I wonder if I might address the body. My name's Pete Begley. I'm the chairman of the Monroe County Republican Party.
At what township do you reside in?
Smithfield. Yeah.
He represents all Monroe County.
That's correct. Woo!
The board policy very clearly provides it, as is consistent with the Sunshine Act, that only, excuse me, that only taxpayers within this district are permitted to comment during public comment. The district policy, as well as the Sunshine Act, permits that limitation, and that's what's been imposed. So.
We the people want them to talk.
Excuse me, I will not have disrespectfulness this evening. We have. I'm sorry, sir.
The Sunshine Act itself very clearly provides that it can be limited to taxpayers. And the
Well, I'm
district
certainly a
policy provides,
taxpayer.
no, taxpayers of
Within
the
this
school
district.
district.
The Sunshine Act.
It does. The taxpayers within the particular municipality or entity, in this case, school district. In addition to that, district policy also provides for that.
He's speaking for me.
Well,
Go ahead.
no,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. If you want to address the board, you're free to do that. However, district policy and the Sunshine Act very clearly provide that taxpayers of it can be limited to taxpayers of the school district, which this district has done. And district policy does that. And we need
Does
to
the district
consistently.
have does the district have the power to change that policy?
It can go through that process, but not on a whim, no. It can go through a policy review, the same
So
as any
you
other
can
policy.
change this policy.
Theoretically, yeah, the district could consider that, but.
We have a policy that covers
The
that.
policy currently covers that, and therefore we have to implement that. And again, in order for consistency. you have
So
to-
this body has
Everyone, please
decided
let us
to
speak.
not let non.
Non-taxpayers, yes.
If you picked up an agenda on your way in, it showed you the public participation policy right there. If you picked it up on your way in, it states that you can get a copy of it.
This has been consistent for many years in the past, so unfortunately.
That's a bad policy.
Well,
You should change it.
All right,
pretty
sir.
common.
All right, is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Wait, I'm sorry, sir, you already did once. Is there anyone else that has not come to the podium?
No, Griffin. Jen, Junior Polk Township, and I'm just going to finish with, one of our, best teachers in our district had started and wasn't allowed to finish. Line item 5 is the historic Pleasant Valley FBLA National Championship title recognition. Where is it? Why are recognition banners ordered and received by Pleasant Valley School District not hanging proudly in front of the high school and the administration building and ingress hall? Number 6, how is money spent on appreciation days out of district funds versus administration's? Number 7, where do we find the total amount donated by St. Luke's? I know you can't answer, I understand that, but I think it needed to be said publicly.
Courtney Corsimo, Ross Township. I wanted to touch on the term limits. You talked a lot of nice words about term limits, but term limits absolutely ensure greater financial responsibility by the board and lower taxes to us taxpayers. The longer you guys stay in office, the more our tax dollars get spent. Term limits reduce corruption and open the board up to new people and new ideas to solve the school district's problems. The superintendent's resignation after just 2 years, followed by his rehiring the next day at a $25,000 salary increase, is not just a matter of personal ethics, it's an issue of financial stewardship, accountability, and community trust. I understand that the board might be comfortable with this arrangement, but I respectfully disagree. And I believe many in this community do as well. Allowing the superintendent to break his contract in such a way that sends such a damaging message to us taxpayers, parents, teachers, and staff, it creates the appearance that leadership is more about personal gain than serving the needs of the students in the school. This is a breach of public trust, a waste of taxpayer funding, and an erosion of community trust. And this is setting a dangerous precedent.
Amen.
As taxpayers, we expect better. Our children, teachers, and community deserve leadership that puts their needs last and honors the commitments made to serve them. I want to remind you all, most of you ran for your positions in order to bring the community together. Congratulations, you just did it.
Woo!
Good evening. My name is Anthony Bilal of Polk Township, and I would just like to bring forth an idea. As plenty of you know, you're here to help students, but each time you increase your salaries, that comes out paychecks that people like myself who are freshly graduated, we have to give up to line your wallets. Speaking of which, each time that you want to try and so-called help these students, you line your pockets more and more. And I don't see any types of improvements inside the school itself. I have many friends who come here and attend PV, And each time I've heard many horror stories within Pleasant Valley itself, and all I see is pockets being lined more and more. That's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? She's coming, sorry.
No worries, I can be patient. Please.
Good evening, Mercedes Reed, Chestnut Hill Township. The last time I went to a Board of Education meeting was a few years ago, and I haven't been here for quite some time. But yet I found myself waiting till about almost 7:40, freezing in the cold. Whoever made the decision to hold this meeting here tonight, I would question you being in a position of making such simple decisions because your constituent was outside waiting in the cold with a bunch of other 75 or more other people. That was not right. That was certainly not right. I did not expect to come to leave my special needs son and my 2 other children to come to a board meeting where I know none of my questions are gonna be answered. So I'm just gonna ask the questions. When you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, you're left to use your imagination to fill them in. It does not give me any pleasure to be standing up here this evening. I feel, it's not even about feelings. I have been having discussions with my husband. I have a special needs child who, you know, if I had alternatives, I would probably pull him from the school. However, I do have 2 gifted children in the middle school, and I'm very concerned because before we came to this school district to flee, which feels eerily familiar to what we left, we're considering pulling our 2 gifted, very smart daughters out of the school district. And I hope you hear me and hear me well. It does not give me pleasure. We would have to we will have to upturn our lives. We own businesses. We're very busy, but our children are a top priority. Since they started attending Pleasant Valley, we started to feel comfortable because they're being socialized after COVID and having children being homeschooled. It takes a toll on their social skills. So we were happy to have them in brick and mortar. However, we have seen that we're not educators, my husband and I, but we saw a decline. We saw a decline in their education. We saw the curriculum, and they were far beneath what my husband and I, in a homeschool setting, were teaching them. So we are already very well into that position where we're highly considering pulling them out of the schools. But I wanted to also address, what was being proposed. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Conrad. He's a fine person. All of you, I believe, the ones that I know here, the professionals here are. But I'm very concerned. We don't know. I have questions. Was he proposed more money to go to another school district and the board forced to circumvent the current contract terms? What good is a contract if loopholes can restructure them and present them as new? Do we have other options, or are we stuck in a give me more money or a walk position? How much, and is there proof of the other offer, if there is one? Are there others to consider for the superintendent position?
Mrs. Reed, I'm sorry, but your 3 minutes is up.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you
John Kraszewski, Chestnut Hill Township. I hope I speak for everyone here tonight when I say I've never heard of such craziness ever before in my life. If somebody has a contract, first of all, as a man, if I sign a contract, you bet I'm gonna honor that contract. I'm not gonna back out and ask for another 25, just got a raise, another $25,000. People are trying to worry about where they're putting the turkey this Thursday coming up, and you need another $25,000. The only thing that connects you to this school district, and I said this 2 years ago when you furloughed everybody in the Zoom meeting, is your paycheck. That's the only connection you have to this community. You don't care about our kids, and you answered back to me and told me you care about kids. You wouldn't be worried about who got hired at Stroudsburg for what amount. Because are you gonna break everyone who works for this district's contract to give them the same benefit that you're getting? Are you gonna give them 25% raise? No, you're not. You're gonna fight, and you're gonna give them 2 or 3% or some piece of junk raise that barely gives them enough to get by with and put gas in their car. Listen, you got a good education, that's great. If you wanna go to Stroudsburg and make $225, go. And as far as I'm concerned, you're not for our kids anymore, you're for your pocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anyone else before the gentleman speaks for the second time?
We have one here.
All right. Doug Alton, North Chestnut Hill Township. I grew up, I've been here for 51 years. My father was here. He was the postmaster. My grandfather, all of them, they would never stand for this. They've never seen anything like this. I would like to know what initiated this. Where did this all begin? Was it presented to you by Dr. Conrad? Was it presented by the board? Were you guys comparing other districts? If you're comparing other districts, you can't. This is Bronxville. We don't have box stores. We don't have a corporation. We don't have anything else to help us with the taxes. It's all coming out of the residential taxpayers. In the end, you're gonna get it to the point where they have it up north. They're talking 33% tax increases. Individuals cannot survive on that. Now, as a bound contract, you made a life choice, you signed a contract. If you were going to resign from that contract for financial gain, what type of an example are you setting for the children that are supposed to be behind you coming up through? If you resign, take the financial gain. Are you saying it's okay to do that to every student that's coming up through? Absolutely not. You can't have that. To the board, I mean, we brought you in. Not for you guys to make a decision on what you think is right, but what is right for the community. And when you look down through, okay, somebody's posting all kinds of stuff on the social media. They're talking about annual salaries. You look at the annual salaries. You take people that are in the district, they've worked here for 18 years, they're important. And they're not gonna make 25% of your $215,000 after putting 18, 20 years here? Why? Why? Look, back them up. Do something for them. You should have said, oh wait, no. I don't really need it. Is it more like what you're worth or what you think you're entitled to? More and more, everybody thinks they're entitled to it.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's gotta stop, because what's gonna happen? You resign now, 3 years later, I'm gonna do it again. Or somebody else is gonna do it.
Mr. Alphonse, I'm
It's
sorry.
not- You're not setting it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good evening. Harry Stroll, I live in Ross Township. I've been a resident of the Ross Township for 26 years. This is the first time I've decided to speak in front of this committee. Thank you for the time. I do feel it's an unethical decision to accept the resignation of an existing contract in order to rehire the same person. I feel like this raises questions and keeps our ethics in question. Sorry, I do get a little nervous. If we would keep the contract for the following 2 years, and from the math I've been able to provide with the raises that we've promised, if Mr. Conrad has been making his max, raises to date, we're basically saying that we're signing a piece of paper for an extra $42,950 over 2 years. Why would we, in one pen strike, make a decision of that magnitude for this community if we have nothing else to gain but the privilege of one person? I have done some careful math. If we considered your income, if as someone like me who works 40 hours a week or more, your hourly rate right now is between $89 an hour and $129 an hour if you only work 180 days a year. I imagine you're somewhere in between there. And the new rate of pay would be $103.37 versus $149 an hour. Please let me explain to the people that right now, in this meeting, your time would have cost us $450. God, thank you for the.
Janice Griffith, Ross Township. I just want to say, listening to the board meeting, I find it disturbing that the board members are allowed to question each other during the meetings, and you get your answers, but the parents, the taxpayers don't get answers from the board members. And Dr. Conrad, you were speaking about how it's important for longevity of the board members and to break the term limits so that everybody knows what's going on for progress and growth, but we haven't seen growth here at Pleasant Valley. It's actually gone down. And I'm just curious how that raise for you benefits our students, because I don't see how it would benefit our students at all. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Art Wall from Chestnut Hill Township. On the issue of Dr. Conrad, I'm a retired individual living on a fixed income. My projected income for this next year is 2.5%. That hasn't even been passed. The average over the last decade for senior citizens has been 2.5%. You signed a contract giving you a cap of 3.5%. You've already received above that a 4% raise, and now you want what equates out to another 12% increase in your salary. That is uncalled for, unneeded. Also, you signed a contract for 5 years saying that you would not receive more than a 3.5% increase in your salary. You've exceeded that now within 2 years. You've already got a $2,000 bonus this year. You've got your 4% increase, and now you want another 12% increase. The only thing this is going to do is you folks as a Board of Education are going to come back to us and say, we can't meet our budget. We need to raise our taxes.
Yes.
We as citizens cannot afford this anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where's the gentleman?
Hector.
Hector?
Hector?
Sorry. Was there anyone else that has not spoke that would like to speak before I allow the second round?
Oh, okay.
Wait one more.
Hi, my name's Alex. I own property in Polk Township and Chestnut Hill and Eldred. This is my first time coming to one of these, so pardon me, but somebody said it earlier, which I think might be the crux of the issue, and I hope at the next meeting you can give some answers around this. What this kind of smells like to me is that whether it was a headhunter from another district, somebody offered you a higher salary somewhere, and you kind of, again, I could be wrong, but this is how it's coming off. And that was presented to the board, like, hey, I need you to come up to this, or I'm gonna take this other position. And I think it would really help you guys if you at least provided some clarity if that actually was the case. I think it is valid what the other individual who brought that up said, that it would be good if we found out where this idea came from. If this is something you came up with or something that the board said, hey, you're doing such a fantastic job, you need a 12.5% increase. From what it sounds like, that probably wasn't the case. But hopefully you can provide some clarity on that. You know, I don't think this would be a good idea. Obviously, you know, the economy that we're in, people are struggling to pay for basic things, and for you to get an increase like that, and it's gonna ultimately come back to the taxpayers, that's not right. Alex Cameron.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let everyone know that we have about, I think, 25 minutes left in the hour comment period. So just wanted to let you know that.
I won't take 25 minutes.
I know you can't. But all right, I don't see anybody else, so go ahead.
So what's interesting to me, attending this meeting, is how easily you guys are willing to violate the sunset law. Sunshine law. And it was demonstrated to you at this very meeting. Yet refer to that to keep from hearing something that you may not want to hear. And those of us that are allowed to speak based on what your guys are saying, there is the right to redress of grievances in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. We have a right to ask questions and expect an answer if we have a grievance of anything wrong or of concern. Now, if you guys have been told not to answer questions, your First Amendment right is also being violated. You have a right to speak as well if you have a soul that's willing to speak.
Amen.
So please keep in mind, and last thing, with regards to the violation, I'd like to know, every time a rule or a law is broken, there's an expectation of some sort of fix for that. I don't know what fix you're gonna come up with for violating the rule yourselves.
So, I'm sorry, Mercedes. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Gilsbach to address the fact that you feel that we violated the Sunshine Act. So, Mr. Gilsbach.
Good evening, everybody. I didn't think I'd have to speak yet, but I'm happy to answer the questions. The Commonwealth Court decision that was just referenced is something I actually litigated. And the issue before the court was not withdrawing items from the agenda. The question and the provision of law was adding things to the agenda. And yes, the court correctly said that there are limits on adding things to the agenda, but the court did not address the issue of removing items. And I don't believe the Sunshine Act does deal with that issue. Boards, from time to time, for a lot of different reasons, remove agenda items. The purpose of the Sunshine Act is to ensure that if the board is going to take action, that there's not surprise that we suddenly add an item to the agenda to take action on, not the reverse. Certainly the board, for any number of reasons, can remove an agenda item. It happens from time to time. So I did want to clarify that. And again, as someone who litigated the particular case that was referenced, the court that specific case very clearly dealt with the issue of adding things to the agenda versus subtracting things from the agenda.
Well, I read the Coleman decision, it said adding or subtracting. So I guess I'll have to look at that and get back with you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mercedes.
It's okay, Mercedes Reed, Chestnut Hill Township. I think that a lot of people are here because they feel they're being bamboozled. Nobody likes to feel like the wool is being pulled over their eyes, like they're being cheated. And, you know, I really love living here. I love the life that we've made for our children. I mean, there's always things that are gonna fall short of our expectations. But I mean, one thing I didn't say before, aside from thinking about pulling our children from the school district, the ones that we can, it just doesn't make sense. You know, we've been here for a few years, and now my husband and I, aside from thinking about pulling our children from school, we're thinking about moving. Can you imagine that? We would make a killing out of selling our home, I'm sure, but we want to continue to plant our roots here. We don't want to pull our kids out from the school, but we expect better. We expect better from the teachers. We don't want our kids behind computers all day. Who knows what kind of effects that will have on the children. If we're doing brick and mortar, the teachers, they went to school for that. They should be teaching the children. I know it's not going to go to the old times of when we were kids, but I'm seeing that some things are dangerous to veer away from. But I just wanted to express that everybody here, we're here because we love where we live. We love our children. We want what's best for them. And when something appears to be compromised, we come out, and it's just not right. We've seen the Board of Education vote in who they thought they wanted to vote in. And, you know, to go back to Dr. Conrad's, I'm going to finish what I was saying before. You know, I'm asking questions at people, and somebody said courage is contagious. I wouldn't have come up a second time. I want to finish what I was asking, because I'm sure these are questions that some of the constituents have. Do we have other options, or are we stuck in a give me more money or a what position from Dr. Conrad? How much, and is there proof of another offer if there is one? Are there others to consider for his position? How has his performance been? Has he been doing a good job to warrant the raise, even without the threat of leaving because he got approached by another school district? Has he been rectifying issues from years past? Has he made our school district better? I would hate to think something nefarious is going on here. I certainly would like an explanation, and I think that's what we all want here today. Let's get some answers. Our fellow parents, constituents, stakeholders. One thing I ask, if you railroad this, we need to make sure it's a roll call so that we can see who voted for it.
Mrs. Reed, I'm sorry, but your time's up.
And don't forget who we're not gonna vote for the next school board election.
I wasn't gonna come up again, but my name is Ann Gravel, and I'm from Polk Township. I think what people don't realize here, has been told to me in many different occasions, there is a school board superintendent shortage in this district. So yes, I believe Dr. Conrad is holding us hostage. But then again, with the teachers' contracts coming up, there is a teacher shortage. So guess who's gonna hold us hostage next? People need to realize, okay, no one wants to go into education anymore. And I get it. But you also have to realize, you have less than 5,000 students in this district, okay? I was against you when you were hired the first time. I sat right behind you, and I haven't changed my opinion since. Enough is enough. Where do you think we're coming up with this money, okay? The median income in this area is less than $50,000. If we make that, what companies do we have out here? A St. Luke's, a Lehigh Valley, a ShopRite, and this school district. I'm sorry, you've bled us dry, especially with the $110 million renovation that's hanging over our heads. Yeah. We already start with a $500,000 increase before we even get to the new raises and everything else. Do you guys realize we don't have the money? I said that before, and I'm saying it again. We do not have the money to do this, and our kids are the ones that are suffering. When 70% of our tax dollars go to salaries and 30% go to our kids, what are our children getting? Okay, we are graduating kids with a 30% proficiency in reading, or 30% have proficiency in reading, 47% proficiency in math. We have colleges now that are going to offer high school algebra because we can't pass the test. When are you going to stop and start working on the education system? And I say again, you guys put all these IMAP, all this. You test these kids from morning till night. Who's teaching them? These teachers need to teach us stop testing these kids. Thank you.
Alyssa Rico, Chestnut Hill. I just have a question about the Sunshine Act, because you guys said that the Sunshine Act says that you have to be a taxpayer in order to speak. But on the Office of Open Records, it says agencies are also permitted to limit comment to residents and taxpayers of the area served by the agency. So is it your rule or is it the Sunshine Act?
It's our policy.
It's a district policy.
Okay,
That's been in place for many years.
but that was my question,
Sure.
because you guys said it was the Sunshine Act.
But it's allowed by the Sunshine Act.
Right, it's allowed by the Sunshine Act, but the Sunshine Act isn't dictating it.
The board policy dictates who can speak at.
Right.
Yeah, it's both. The Sunshine Act permits it, the board policy in this
Right, so it's
case.
something that you guys could allow, but it's a policy that you guys have. that you
Well, we have,
don't
we have a policy in place and we have an obligation to ensure the policy is consistently applied. Certainly, if you're asking the board to consider to change the policy, which is what I'm hearing, the board could take that under advisement. Obviously, that's not something we would act on now, but
No, I understand that. That was just my question, was whether you were saying that the Sunshine Act is saying you have to be a taxpayer. But
The Sunshine
it's
Act-
your policy, but the Sunshine Act allows you to do that.
the Sunshine Act permits it.
Right.
But board policy requires it.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Hello, Chantel Davis, Colgan, Chestnut Hill Township. I don't have any questions, really. It seems pointless since no one answers anything. So I just want to make a quick statement. I remember meeting most of you, Dr. Conrad, I don't think I've ever met you before, so I can't really say anything to you and, other than what you've done. You guys, I remember meeting you when you were trying to be elected. I remember how passionate you were about the students and the programs and about, diffusing any type of corruption and also talking about transparency. Where is that transparency now? What did we as taxpayers who voted you in, what is the point? What is the point if you guys aren't going to answer any questions? If there's no, formal way to do this, right? Didn't we help you get this job? Aren't you supposed to be serving us? Aren't you public leaders, public servants for us, for our community? So my question to you is, how are you going to be better? Why do you deserve the positions that you currently have? As you can see, so many people are very, very distrustful, very, very disappointed. And I think that that's my biggest word that I can use to describe. This is my first school board meeting. It's probably not going to be the last, unfortunately. It's not what I wanted to do tonight, but I think it's very important. And I think that this was a really big wake-up call. So congrats to you guys for doing something that, as Courtney said, brought us together, because I think a lot more people are going to be paying attention to what you guys are doing. And we're going to be much more mindful when it comes to, your terms and exactly what you stand for, because I don't know who you are after meeting you when you were first running. I don't know any of you. I'm shocked and I'm very disappointed. And I think you guys should really be ashamed about how you have treated us just at this one meeting.
Seeing no one approach the podium at this time, we will move on.
Do you mind if I address some of this?
Yeah, you're next, I guess. No, we're next.
Oh, yeah, you're next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, at this time, are there any Pleasant Valley school directors that would like to make any comments? Okay, would you please tone it down a little? I want to address a couple of things that I made notes of. Someone asked about how salaries are set. We do have collective bargaining agreements and we negotiate those. We have teachers' contracts, we have Act 93. So they are set. That's how our staff is paid. Also, someone asked about if we follow PSSA. I'm not quite sure. PSSA is the superintendent's organization. So I'm not quite sure what that has to do with us as a school board. So I just want to, that person, I'm not sure what that question had to do with. Those are a couple of things that I wrote down. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and if maybe I don't have my paper. Oh, let me find it here. You know, it is really great that some of you want to continue to come, because that's how you do learn about what's going on in the school district. I have here a millage review of what tax increases have been for the past 15 years here in Pleasant Valley School District. And I broke it down in the previous 10 years, we've had a 1.62% increase over the last 10 years. And over the last 15 years, we've had a 1.3% increase in our millage rate. A 1% increase equals $35 annually. $35 annually to an average.
It's not about the money, it's about the service.
Wait. Guys, hey, you know what? I can't believe you can't be respectful. And if you don't want to hear answers, then I'll just stop and give you, if you don't want to hear the facts. So, again, it's a 35% annual increase on the average median tax base here. So that's what a 1% increase equates to. I could go on, but I don't think you'll prohibit me to. So at this time, anyone else?
Wow.
All right, superintendent's remarks, Dr. Conrad.
All right, so as you can imagine, I have a couple of remarks. So I just want to hopefully be methodical about this. So give me 1 second, I apologize. So regarding the concern about having conversation and dialogue, right? So that's how we get better at things. Unfortunately, for board meetings, we have what's called Robert's Rules. And so if you look up, do some research tonight, Robert's Rules, for board meetings, they're not a give and take interactive session, okay? What this board has done, as well as I, is that we've asked for community members to come to what's called working sessions. And they occur once a month. And not only do we hold a board meeting, but then we actually have opportunities to review curriculum. And that's open to everyone that's here. And just by a quick show of hands, how many people were at a board meeting recently in the last, year? Not many, a couple. Thank you for being here, okay? It's important for you to come. It's important for you to see what's on the district website. Back on November 14th, just a couple weeks ago, I presented a presentation for the community, because we talk about a couple of things like what progress is being made. Are we making positive changes? And I really encourage all of you, it's right on the district website. It's called Commitment to Excellence, because that's what we do. Growth and Progress at Pleasant Valley School District. And I want you to take some time tonight to review that, because I think there's some realities that when I first came here 3 years ago, we were facing. And I'm just going to let all of you know, not one person, not one employee in this district had an active contract. $6 million in deficit, okay? There was a lot of problems, a lot of overspending in the district. Since then, we've been excellent with our finances. We have a full cadre of staff. We have excellent staff members. And there's a lot of other important information that talk about the changes. Let me highlight a couple of things, because I need you to understand the things that we think about day in and day out, the things that we're passionate about. We have excellent educators and teachers and staff in this district. And this is not something that I do as superintendent, but that I help to orchestrate with my administration team, with my teachers and staff, and obviously look at the community input. So please take an opportunity, look at those changes, look at the safety changes, look at the financial changes, look at the communication changes. I literally every single month get maybe one question, typically from the same person, about what's happening in the school district. These are great opportunities to say, hey, can you maybe preview the reading curriculum. Could you give us an update on X? We'll be more than happy to do that. But communication's a two-way street. And I understand that there's a lot of concern from parents tonight. And I'm going to tell you this. I appreciate you being here tonight. That means a lot to me because I know that there's passionate individuals in this room that not only care about our district, care about finances, care about our kids. And when you look around, you see the same thing from this board, from me and others. So I really encourage you. There's so much information on our district website. I would really ask for you to take some time, review that. Some of you had asked about my performance. Look it up. It's on the district website. Meets and exceeds every year for the last 3 years. It kind of goes in sync with this presentation that I really hope you take a look at, because for some of you that don't see progress being made, you don't realize that we had $7.6 million in scholarship for students last year, which is twice the amount the year before, which has never been even exceeded in the years past, maybe hovering at about $1 million. Know what that translates into? Opportunities. Okay, we talk about grant writing. Do you know what that translates into? $750 for every single teacher, 300 teachers, $250,000 for them to have the supplies to not only provide for students, but then also to reduce the taxpayers' burden by actually having all of those resources so you don't have to go out and buy all these things for your kids. We have them here. So grants are important. We're doing a tremendous job with our business office, our administration, securing these grants to make sure that we're putting it right back into the students and giving them the best education possible, making sure that we hire the best staff members here. And I will tell you, there's growth. I will quote this because it's right here. The Keystone data for the high school, okay, the highest it has been in the last 6 years. The high school Keystone data, the highest biology scores it has been in the last 6 years. Okay? We're not where we want to be because growth doesn't have an endpoint, but growth gets better. And that's really what our emphasis here in this room. From your standpoint, from my standpoint, I don't care where you're at and where I'm at in terms of sitting in positions. We're here for students. We're here for better and we're here for growth. Okay? So I really do. I encourage you, two things. One, please take a time to look at some of this information that's on the website, okay? The second thing is that for those of you that want to be part of some of those changes, please, anything that I've sat with people and a few of you that are in this room know how many hours I spent after board meetings when I was first here. By the way, we haven't had board meetings in the high school in 3 years now? They've always been in this room. So this isn't just we had this on this specific day today on Monday. This was put in the calendar, just so you're all aware, last December, 11 months ago. This is not something that we confined you to a small space to quiet you. That's not what we do. We're here to listen to you. But you also have to listen to us, and we learn from each other because there are important bits of information about the great things that are happening. When the administration is sitting here and they're saying great things that are happening, look at the data. When we're presented with Pennsylvania great schools, look at the data. This isn't something that comes from everyone. So I just want to, again, encourage you, be part of that conversation, but I'm also asking you to be respectful and then also ask you to be a solutions-driven individual. If you don't like something, come up with a solution. If we're saying that parents don't feel like they have the voice in the curriculum, ask us to post it. I have no problem sharing that with you. There's nothing to hide, so keep that in mind. A couple other things I just wanted to say at the end. So here we go. I wanted to thank John Dixon from Toys for Tots. He donated hundreds of books to students at Pleasant Valley Elementary School, so we're grateful for their partnership. Also, congratulations to PBM teacher Sarah Markowski, who was awarded Teacher of the Month in November. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Van Voorhees, Mr. Smell, Mr. Kaufman, and Mr. Kushner for setting up the projectors. That way it's a little bit easier to see these things. Also want to say congratulations to our district administrator, Chief Williams, and administrative assistant, Lorraine McCutcheon, who were recognized as employees of the month. They do an excellent job here. Last week, administration had the opportunity to serve Thanksgiving feast for lunch. So this was great because we were able to actually get behind the serving line and actually provide food to our students. And actually, I come to find out, didn't know this at all, but when we were down, Mr. Pompsell and I were down serving, we were kind of having competitions about who was a little bit faster. I think he beat me a couple times. But I didn't realize this, that the Thanksgiving lunch was actually the busiest lunch that we pretty much served in the district. So our administration was really proud to be part of that and also lessen the burden a little bit for the great hardworking food service workers that we have in our district. So that was wonderful. This past weekend, I took my kids to see Get Smart. Awesome play. If you didn't show up, you missed it. It was phenomenal. The high school students. I want to thank, obviously, Mr. Mulligan and his wife, Maurice, and then Craig and Donna Morris. They did a beautiful job with the production. And again, what a great way to showcase our successes. We know that athletics get a lot of praise, which is awesome, but our fine and performing arts, our students are incredible. And if you're in the community, whether you have a graduate or just haven't been, come to one of these things, see the great things that our kids are doing. It's mesmerizing. Couple other things I just wanted to announce, and I think this was announced last meeting, but our district had been provided a $1 million public school facility improvement grant. Again, grants are important, right? To be used towards the high school renovation project. So again, hardworking individuals securing grants so that way we can reduce the burden on taxpayers. I did want to say, and I genuinely mean this, happy Thanksgiving. We're wishing that everyone has a wonderful holiday. Obviously keep the ones that you love close because it means a lot to them and to you all to have that family time. We rearranged the calendar this year so that way we can actually give an extra day for our staff to have preparations for Thanksgiving. So we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and are well rested when you come back. And I'll end with this, and I seriously mean this. And I want you to think about this when you leave. Never forget the positive impact you can have on a student's life. That's for all of us. We're here for one reason, and that's the kids that we serve. And think about our actions. Think about the ways that we need to work together. I'm not asking for everyone to agree on everything, but if we don't have respect and dialogue, what do you think that's showing to my young people? What's that showing to my high school kids? That we can yell and walk out of a room? That's not right. We're better than that. And again, this is how we can grow. So think about that, because I think that we deserve better. And more importantly, more than anything, our kids deserve better. So please keep that in mind. Go Bears.
You didn't answer our question.
Thank you, Dr. Conrad.
You can email me. If you'd like to set up a meeting, I would be more than happy to answer your
Robert's
questions.
rules supersede the First Amendment? First Amendment says the right to redress of grievance.
I could give you the.
Sit there quiet.
I'll talk to you if you want after. Okay, just give me a couple minutes.
Where on the website is these community meetings that we have access to?
So great question. So on the website, here, I'll tell you, give me 1 second.
Can Chuck put it up on the screen so people can see it?
The working sessions, they're labeled working session meetings.
Yeah, so what's really nice about it is that we had listened a lot over the past couple of years about communication. Okay, perfect, yep. So under Pleasant Valley School District, if you just go to pvbears.org, if you scroll down to the bottom left, you'll see Toys for Tots, you'll see the presentation I had mentioned. If you go under, let's see, administration, if you hover over administration and then Board of Education, you'll actually find not only the live streams, you'll find recorded meetings, approved board minutes. So again, when we talk about transparency, everything's there. And if there's something that you don't see, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction. But everything on the left-hand column, you can see recorded board meetings. Our working sessions, I believe, are recorded as well. So we know people are busy. If you can't make it, listen, if you're concerned about the reading curriculum, look at last board meeting on November 14th. Because in the second part, the working sessions, we talk about the reading curriculum, where we're at with the process. There's nothing hidden from you. It's all there. So just.
This is where you see the working session, like there's a button that says.
Yeah, go to board meeting dates and click on it.
I hate when that comes up.
I'm sorry.
Just so
I
you
can't.
know that. Every time, does it have to come up?
Yep, so there's all the board meeting dates. So we have one, as you can see, on December 5th is our reorganization. So our next boarding is December 5th. As it's slated right now, and again, for further discussion, It's supposed to be scheduled here because all board meetings have always been here. That's something I'm sure that the board can discuss if they feel it's necessary to make a different change. But everything's right there. So again, if you're, as a community member, if you're finding that you can't get information that you want to get, please reach out to us, let us know.
This is the working session?
On the left-hand side.
The left-hand side is the agenda.
So,
Okay, so these are
Right.
the voting working sessions?
Yeah, and the
So-
agendas are posted before the meetings that we have. So going back to the whole
But there's-
sunshine, we don't add things to the agenda 24 hours before, and that's what that nomenclature is. Because things were added on Friday, that still falls within the purview because it would have been, we had until 7 o'clock Sunday night to add things to the board agenda. But as we talked about, there can be things that are taken off. We've done that for working sessions, voting meetings, things of that nature, so.
So to be clear though,
Yeah.
on the meetings on the left for the voting and the working sessions, there's a voting meeting first. That's a business meeting. Here are the actions, you're voting yes or no. The working session comes immediately after that. That's where we're discussing everything.
Thank you.
And that's happening once per month. And we're going through all of the things, curriculum, transportation, security, athletic, like we go through all of those things at those meetings in the working sessions.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. Please stay safe, enjoy your families. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned.
Thank you so much. Give them to this body.
That's all right. I thought it was somebody behind me. I didn't want to wheel out.
I guess.